So joining us now, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and John Yoo, author of the new book, Defender-in-Chief, Donald Trump's Fight for Presidential Power. Good to have you both with us tonight.
Hey, Shannon.
Good to be here, Shannon.
Okay, I want to put up some of the things that will not be prosecuted by the Multnomah County DA. This is Portland. Criminal trespass in the first and second degree, disorderly conduct in the second degree, harassment. There are others on this list. And basically, John, he says, you know, if people are doing things peacefully, but they do commit some of these, what he considers lower level crimes, he's not going to waste time prosecuting them. What do you think?
I can't think of a better incentive to prolong the agony of downtown Portland if the DA and other city and state officials are not going to try to punish people who've gone beyond peaceful protests to engage in violence against federal officers, against federal buildings or state police. This is actually a good reason why the federal Constitution does give the federal government a role in these urban disorders, because again, state and local officials are primarily charged in public health and safety. But if they don't do their job, if they step aside and allow violence to sweep these cities, then the federal government does have a job in protecting public places, federal places, enforcing federal law, and protecting the constitutional right of the residents if the city and state police and prosecutors like this fellow aren't going to do their jobs.
Now, this prosecutor does say there are a certain level of property crime once you get past a certain amount, or physical harm to someone. There are things that are going to be prosecuted, but not the things he considers lower level and less damaging. The Portland police chief says, by the way, whatever policy changes they make doesn't change Oregon law. We're going to keep arresting people. He says this: the arrests we make often come after hours of damage to private property, disruption of public transit and traffic on public streets, theft from small businesses, arson, burglary, attacks on members of the community, and attacks against police officers. So, Leslie, you know, you've got law enforcement officers out there who are trying to get things under control. They're arresting people, but knowing some of those folks they arrest are never going to face charges.
Well, look, there's a few things here. I mean, when you look at how many arrests have been made specifically in Portland, the district attorney just doesn't have the money to bring all of these, quite frankly, before a jury. And I think John knows even better than I, with his background, that a lot of these cases, you know, wouldn't make it. You can't fill prisons with all of these people, especially when some of these people were peaceful protesters. They're not violent criminals, haven't committed a violent crime if you look at the list of things that he is going to prosecute versus things he's not. And at the end of the day, isn't that what everyone, not just in Portland but throughout the country, is crying regarding racial injustice being one of the elements? Is that black folks just get thrown in jail? You know, sometimes if they're just standing there on the corner, if they're just doing something peaceful. So I think the district attorney, quite frankly, is doing the right thing when it comes to funding, when it comes to volume, and when it comes to listening to the protesters and what they're requesting.
And John, I want to give you a quick chance to respond to that quickly. What about that distribution of resources? They're limited. Prosecutors have to make decisions about what actually will stick and what's worth their time.
You know, of course, that's called prosecutorial discretion. But what I don't think you want to do is tell people ahead of time that if you commit certain crimes, we're not going to go after you. You pick the ones that have the biggest impact in order to reduce the threat to public health and safety. And that might be involved just picking the most dangerous ones or the worst violators, but not saying we're just not going to prosecute certain cases at all.
All right, John and Leslie, thank you both very much. And we'll continue this debate, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.